Films live and die by distribution. Today, more than 70% of the global box office comes from international distribution, and this will increase because many US films made aren't available to turn a profit without international box office sales. Now more than ever, producers need foreign markets. Since the 1980s, movies have been distributed through release windows. Each window is an allotted span of time, going from the cinema to SVOD and home video to TV. If a movie is released in movie theaters, this theatrical window lasts approximately 90 days. Next, the film goes to a home entertainment window. This includes DVD, Blu-ray, or EST, and VOD services. After approximately 200 days, it's released on pay TV and SVOD. Then, approximately 2 years after its theatrical release, it is available for free-to-air TV. These release windows are shortening, sometimes to the point of simultaneous release, or skipping the theatrical release entirely by going straight to video. Film producers make money by licensing movies to different distributors and platforms across the globe. But SVOD services like Netflix are spreading across borders and acquiring both international and domestic rights. Selling to Netflix limits the amount of money a producer can earn, but with SVOD being a one-stop shop, it's an easy sale. Theatrical release usually establishes a movie's success or failure, and where and how to release your movie is one of the most important financial decisions a producer can make. Worldwide distribution is divided into 4 major regions: US and Canada, EMEA, which includes Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Asia Pacific, and Latin America. Global box office reached $36.4 billion in 2014. This is up 15% from the prior 4 years, and the Asia Pacific region passed North American box office as the largest in the world. But as an individual country, the US remains the largest box office and the largest movie exporter, with its signature movies being the Hollywood blockbuster. Hollywood movies are designed to perform internationally because production budgets and promotional costs are too high to be returned solely by the domestic market. For the last 10 years, US domestic box office has had a slight increase, with the raise in ticket prices being the major cause of this increase. But the international box office has increased even more, from earning $21 billion in 2004 to $26 billion in 2014, and home entertainment income making up 63% of that total box office. However, these figures are deceptive for US productions, because they show the entire film income, and not just the producer's share. In America, distributors tend to receive 50 to 55% of box office receipts, with the rest going to the cinemas. Elsewhere, the average take is 40 to 45%. Or in China, where Hollywood must use a domestic distributor, producers receive roughly only 15 to 25% of those sales. As for home entertainment sales, they overpower box office sales in almost every country, with approximately 70% of those sales being local movies. Let's take a closer look at the global regions. In 2014, the Asia Pacific region showed 46% growth over 4 years, going from $8.5 billion to $12.6 billion. This includes the second and third largest movie markets in the world, China and Japan. Currently, all the major Hollywood studios have their representation in China. China is the biggest foreign market and will soon be the biggest market entirely, projected to overtake the US within 5 years. However, the majority of their box office is reserved for local movies, with a quota allowance of only 34 foreign titles, and they make only half the money they would make if they were shown in the States. In 2017, this quota is set to open up, and may open up completely sometime in the future. China is a rare case when it comes to home entertainment. Spending is just 7% of the total box office. Chinese online video platform, iQIYI, who owns the largest online movie library in China, just signed up an SVOD and TVOD deal with Lionsgate, predicting a further expansion of paid online video. In 2014, other large markets in the region included Japan, India, South Korea, and Australia. According to MPAA Japan, for the last 14 years, the amount of earnings imported films made in Japan fell from 68% in 2000 to 41.7% in 2014. Home entertainment spending in Japan is $6.5 billion, or 73% of its total box office, with 70% of this being local entertainment. India is mainly a local movie market, but some major Hollywood studios, Disney and Fox for example, have their Indian branches producing original Hindi language movies. Hollywood studios are expected to monetize this market, but with low ticket prices due to poverty, India is a hurdle for the old Hollywood tactic of making premium movies and charging premium ticket prices. The next largest region is EMEA, which includes Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Passed by the Asia-Pacific market in 2013, EMEA has showed only 2% growth in the last 4 years. Its largest film consumers are France, UK, Germany, and then a dwindling Russia. Although Hollywood films dominate European multiplexes, with high ticket prices, they're losing popularity. According to a report from the Council of Europe's Audiovisual Observatory, admissions for US films accounted for 63.1% of the European market last year. This is down from 69.5% in 2013. European titles, conversely, increased. Russia shows a little growth, but a sharp fall in the value of the ruble has wiped out any gains for international distributors in the region. Home entertainment revenues are pretty high for the majority of European markets, being 52 to 65% higher than the box office, with the exception being Russia, which is hurt by piracy. The last region is Latin America, raking in $3 billion in box office sales and a 46% growth in the last 4 years. Their big consumers being Mexico and Brazil. In 2015, Latin America showed growth in every market. Local movies play an important role in this growth, but so do US movies, with Furious 7 setting opening weekend records in much of the continent. However, an unstable currency due to problems within their oil industry make Latin America a risky bet. So what's in the future? Led by Pacific Asia, international box office will keep growing. China will be the largest box office in the world within 5 years. Major studios will keep focusing on large budget pictures based on well-established franchises. They will pursue new technologies to boost the quality of the films in order to justify high ticket prices and stay ahead of the in-home experience. But this will be a difficult task because new technologies will become available for the in-home experience as well. Not to mention Netflix and SVOD platforms are spreading internationally, so the theatrical release has its work cut out for them. Look for new mini-major studios like STX, backed up with extensive investors, particularly Chinese, with secured international distribution and significantly lower operating costs. They will cater to small or medium budget movies. Local films will become a niche market for those who want an alternative to the Hollywood blockbuster, and they will aid their local economies. The movie watching experience will become vastly segmented, but it will continue to thrive. Just know where to sell your movies.